Laws related to prostitution in India. Suppression of Immoral Traffic in Women and Girl Act 1956. Prevention of Immoral Traffic Act 1956. Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956. The Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act 1956, ITPA, the main statute dealing with sex work in India, does not criminalize prostitution or prostitutes per se, but mostly punishes acts by third parties facilitating prostitution like brothel keeping, living off earnings and procuring, even where sex work is not coerced. Section 3. Punishment for keeping a brothel or allowing premises to be used as a brothel. Any person who keeps or manages, or acts or assists in the keeping or management of a brothel, shall be punishable on first conviction with rigorous imprisonment for a term of not less than 1 year, and not more than 3 years, and also with fine which may extend to 2,000 rupees. And in the event of a second or subsequent to conviction, with rigorous imprisonment for a term of not less than 2 years, and not more than 5 years, and also with fine which may extend to 2,000 rupees. Prostitution has a legal status in India subjected to various limitations. The legal framework of India awards various rights to the prostitutes who work willingly in this profession. Being a citizen of India, they are entitled to the fundamental rights promised to them by the Constitution. The Supreme Court of India in the Pankaj Chaudhary and others versus State gave the verdict that even if the worker is habituated to sexual cause, she still has the right to bodily integrity and can say no. In the case of Manoj Shaw and Manoj Kumar Shaw versus State of West Bengal, it was observed that the sex workers should be treated as victims and not accused. In the case of Gaurav Jain versus Union of India, Advocate Gaurav Jain filed a petition for the establishment of educational institutes for the children of the fallen women. The Supreme Court ruled that the children of sex workers should mingle with others and become a part of society. Prostitution leads to many health problems for the prostitutes like cervical cancer, traumatic brain injury, HIV, STD, psychological disorders. In a country like India, where most of the people indulge themselves in unprotected sex with prostitutes, it is very difficult to eradicate the problem of AIDS. Historically, the AIDS epidemic in India was first identified amongst sex workers and their clients. Before other sections of society became affected, the sex workers are themselves taking steps to combat with AIDS in some brothels in India. For example, Sonagachi, a brothel in Kolkata, where the sex workers are insisting their clients for use of condoms in order to avoid AIDS. But in all the other brothels in India, social workers and NGOs are trying to acquaint the sex workers about the ill effects of AIDS and are insisting them for using condoms. Sex trafficking. India is a source, destination, and transit country for women and children subjected to sex trafficking. Thousands of unregulated work placement agencies reportedly lure adults and children under false promises of employment into sex trafficking. Experts estimate millions of women and children are victims of sex trafficking in India. Traffickers use false promises of employment or arrange sham marriages within India or Gulf states and subject women and girls to sex trafficking. Many women and girls, predominantly from Nepal and Bangladesh, and from Europe, Central Asia, Africa, and Asia, including Rohingya and other minority populations from Burma, are subjected to sex trafficking in India. Prime destinations for both Indian and foreign female trafficking victims include Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi, Gujarat, Hyderabad, and along the India-Nepal border. Nepali women and girls are increasingly subjected to sex trafficking in Assam and other cities such as Nagpur and Pune. Some corrupt law enforcement officers protect suspected traffickers and brothel owners from law enforcement efforts, take bribes from sex trafficking establishments and sexual services. Some Nepali, Bangladeshi, and Afghan women and girls are subjected to both labor and sex trafficking in major Indian cities.
Male prostitution is not a very new concept in India. Men providing sexual services to women or couples in an absolutely professional manner are termed as gigolos who charge money for the services provided. However, male prostitution is still low profile if we compare it to the exclusively homosexual prostitution, more commonly known as the gay prostitutes. With the legalization and liberalization of the homosexuals, cities like Kolkata are witnessing an alarming spread of gay prostitution rackets according to a survey conducted by PLUS, an organization for the welfare of gay prostitutes. Around 1,000 homosexual sex workers are now operative in Kolkata, although the actual figure may be much more, compared to 100 to 150 in the last 2 years. 70% of these gay prostitutes are from the suburban areas of Kolkata, coming here in search of some fast buck.
Prostitutes have always been treated as an outcast from society and their profession is looked upon as derogatory. They usually get involved in the flesh market to bear their expenses and support their families. They are usually low-income strata of the society who don't find another way to make money. Once they enter into this business, it is almost impossible to get out of this, live a dignified life or get accepted to do any other job. Their offsprings also have to go through a lot of discrimination and humiliation because of the same. The circumstances in which sexually exploited children have to live are not morally, socially and psychologically appropriate. Still, they are compelled to live like that because of financial reasons. Their human rights are violated. At the age of attaining education and moral values, they are coerced to lowly jobs, putting an end to having a better future. They have to face a lot of troubles including inhuman behaviors. Trafficking, forcing and indulging a child into sexual services is the most brutal abuse against an innocent on this planet. The research, conducted by Dr. Beulah Shekhar, Emeritus Professor of Criminology at Karunya Institute of Technology Sciences, KITS, in Coimbatore, examines the financial exploitation the community faces in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic. The Supreme Court passed directives for sex workers to receive dry rations and other benefits without insisting on proof of identity through documents on the 29th of September 2020, according to a report by Economic and Political Weekly. However, the only food and rations we have received is from people around us, and nothing from the government, said Meenakshi, another sex worker living in a brothel. Meenakshi has not been able to get any government aid despite having all valid identification. Various sex workers send their children away to hostels or leave them back home in the villages they come from. But many children live and grow up within the community.